Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Seth Samuel, and today we'll be discussing a very fascinating topic, and that's monorepos. So I'm sure most of you that have experience working with Git and GitHub have heard of the idea of repos, right? But actually, what's a monorepo and how does it work? So let's get right into it. So right now I'm on the official NX website, and I like the definition of what a monorepo is. And it says a monorepo is a single Git repository, right, that holds the source code for multiple applications and library alongside with the toolings for them. Let me just explain what they actually mean with this. So usually, if you have ever developed an app, you are already used to um, creating a folder, right, for a project, and that folder will have all the things that you need for that project. So things like your function, your code, your LinkedIn rules, your TS configs, whatever config that you have, all of them have, I believe, in that particular folder. And it's a very good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem now is, imagine you're a big company or you're a company, right? You have the same rule for all of your projects. So things like you have the same LinkedIn rules for all of your projects. And let's assume you're a company like, say, Facebook, that you have multiple apps, and those apps should have, like, there should be like a company-wide rule, LinkedIn rule for those apps. So now what you usually do is you have to copy and paste those rules for each project. So imagine you have 10 projects now. You have to copy each of those rules for that 10 projects. Imagine you have code they want to be used over and over again. You have to have like all of these things for each project. And if tomorrow your LinkedIn rules change, all that change has to be reflected in all of the projects, and you can easily see why that doesn't scale well. And that's when monorepos come. With a monorepo, you can have all of your projects in one place. When you make a change to your LinkedIn rules, for example, or your type TS configs, for example, that change gets applied to all of your projects at once, and the changes can be effected by the developers all at once. So you don't have to be copying the rules over and over and over again. And I hope that makes sense. But let's read some of the benefits that you say. So the first benefit that you say, the rule here is shared code and visibility. Keeps your code dry across your entire organization. Now, for those of you that really learned programming from school or from a more structured way, you know the dry rule. And basically, what it means is don't repeat yourself. So, like the example that I was citing before. Okay, let's say for example now you have you're working for a ride-hailing app, right? And you have a function that calculates the distance between 2 points. Now, and three apps will require that kind of function. That means every developer that works on that project will have to have those three functions, right? They have to also implement their own three functions, and it creates this redundancy whereby you repeat the same thing over and over again. And one of the golden rules of programming is don't repeat yourself. That's the meaning of dry. Don't repeat yourself. Monorepos help you not to repeat yourself, because once written, always accessible to all the projects. So let me continue reading. Say reuse validation code, UI components, and types across the code base. Reuse code between backend, front end, and utility libraries. Make changes. Change a server API and modify downstream application that consume that API in the same commit. You can change a button component in the share library, and the application that uses that component in the same commit. A monorepo saves the pain of trying to coordinate commits across multiple repositories. Now, what this means is when you make a change, let's say to your backend, like your Node.js app, you make a change that, like, and you change an endpoint, for example, you change the name of the endpoint or the data that is passed to the endpoint, and you made a commit. Now, normally what you do is The front end guy will make the change to that. Front end guys will make the change, and then they'll push it on their own repo, and then they have their own workflow, right? And they have their own project manager, and he's going to work on that and make sure that everything's working well. Then they have the backend guys also will have their own projects, and then they have their own project manager, which will make sure that everything works on by. For example, now the backend guy's code was already approved more quicker than the front end guy, and it has already been deployed to production. And now the front end guys are having some issues. Now you see that inconsistency. So the API have already changed in production, and now the back end and the front end have not made that change. So it easily breaks the code. But with a monorepo, all the codes get pushed at the same time, and developer mobility, get consistent way of building testing applications written using different tools and technologies. Developers can confidently contribute to other team application and verify their changes are safe. And I think this is self-explanatory. And single set of dependency. This is one of the biggest advantage for me for monorepos. With what's that? Let's say, for example, now Facebook. Let's use the Facebook example again. You have Facebook, that's the web version. You have dev.facebook.com, right? Their developer dashboard thingy, and then you have the business, the interface for the business, right? And then you have Instagram, and then you have a WhatsApp, right? All on the web. All of them are built using React. Now, imagine you have different all these things, and then you have to reinstall. That means you have to install React 3 times, right? And 4 times for each project. So you have to install React for WhatsApp web. You have to install React for the dashboards, for the dev dashboard, and you have to install React for this. And now, if space is a constraint on your laptop, imagine how it is. And we all know how big node modules can be. With a monorepo, number one, you can ensure consistency between your dependencies. So say, for example, for some reason, you use only React 14 or one weird version of React, like that. As a company, you can stick to that version irrespective of the project, so that nobody gets to use another version of React, because all of them are using the same package or JSON. So enough of the talking. So let's just do some demo and see how everything works out together, right? So let me come back to my VS Code, right? And in this project, usually you have apps, and app that. So this is basically the structure of a monorepo, right? So at the top, you have the normal NX. This is where NX does his own thing. This is where VS Code does its own thing. And then you have your node modules. This is the place that everything goes to production. So when you do a build, it falls into this. So you can see, as you can see, I've not done any builds. Then now you see the config. So now you see the linting rules. You see your git ignore. You see your PHTL rules. You see your jest config, and of course package.json and ts config. In the monorepo that we are having here, they have we have 3 projects. We have the Node app, we have the React app, which is we have the Next app, we have the React app, and then we have a Node app API. And all of these share the same package.json. So as you can see, we only have one React installed, and this React is what is going to be used by both the React app and the Next.js app, and Axios and the rest. So all of these dependencies are automatically available to all of these projects. We have a components project here. So basically, let me just show you how to init your own project. So you can install NX. You can follow the guide here on their website. So their website is nx.dev. You can check that out by yourself. I'm going to leave a link in the description. You can just check it out. So you can use normal CLI tools to create your own project. But for the sake of this demo, we are going to be using their VS Code extension. And basically it's this easy. So you just go to generate, then you see a lot of ways of generating. So you have Cypress, you have the yes, you have React application, you have yeah, yeah, they're different. So you have to install all of these at NX plugins, right? So for it to work. So you have Next, you have normal JavaScript, and you have ES built and Cypress and the rest. So say for example now we have this type, right? And the type is of type user. And this user is supposed to be used by these four apps. Now normally what you do is you create this app, you create this type, and then you use it for, so the backend guy will create this type and then use it for his backend. The React guy will create this type and use it for his front end stuff, and the Next.js guy will create this and also use it for his for their Next.js app. But now with NX, what this allows us to do is from these components, this is basically a library, right? This is basically a library. So this library exports the types. So all the types are living within this file. And what this allows us to do is, if I come to the Next.js app, I want to use that user, right? Instead of doing the normal, creating the user. So let's assume now, for some reason, they decided, okay, so you want to collect the phone numbers of every user that uses the app. So if you say phone, and phone should be a string and whatever. Now, if I make this change, that will mean I have to communicate it to the backend guy that is built, all the backend guys that are building the backend. I have to communicate it to all the React guys that are using the React in the company, and then I have to communicate it to all the Next.js app guys that are using the Next.js. But now with this, what I could do is, if I just come here and I just say cons user and I give it the type user, okay, and that's all, and it's imported from the components folder, right? So if I just, and then automatically this user has that type. So that whatever number, and if I do user console.log user.phone, this works fine. Yeah, so to just make this easier, I can just make all of this optional, right? So optional, and nullable, and this error is going away. So, and I can come back to my React app, or to even make it sweeter, to even prove that everything works together, I can just copy this and paste it here, and that's all. So that the user works fine. And I can come back to my Next.js app, so we can just import the type from the project, and that's all. So now let's say, for example, for some reason we discover, oh, so this user needs to have an ID, right? So we say each user should have an ID. So we say a number, format the code. So now you see all of them just give all of the users just gives me an error, which means they need an ID. So I can say ID is equals to 1. The same thing here. ID is equals to 1 and ID is equals to 1. So basically it just ensures consistency between your projects. So this is just a basic example. Another cool thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to share components between your apps, right? So let's say, for example, now I have this component, right? And yes, it just will come to components. So you can just easily share it between the apps. So now I can just come here and then give it components, and all of a sudden it shows the components. And where's the React app? If you come here and you paste and import it, you should be able to come here, and then you see welcome to components, and this welcome to components. If I come here and I change, so if I come here and I say welcome to components, and I say welcome YouTube, now it should show welcome YouTube, and this one should also show welcome YouTube. So I hope you get the idea of why this is really awesome. And this also allows you to share functions, right? So you can share functions, you can share configs, you can share types between all of your projects, and that helps you be more efficient, so you don't repeat yourself, and then you build a more complex application, right? So lastly, I would want to show you a project that's using it in production. So this is a remix project app, and as you can see, you have a more complex project. So these are their apps. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 apps, right? And this is their libraries. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, and then these libraries are really complex. So you can see how everything works together. You can see how everything works. So this one like handle tests, and yeah. So basically, this is how you use it in production. So it helps you basically not to repeat yourself, and helps you to work better and more efficiently. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you find this helpful. Please again like and subscribe and share to your friends, and don't forget about our merch. I'm going to leave the link down in the description. Please patronize us, support us, and see you in the next one.